You guys look at the salary compensation here. The way I'm reading this increase would be effective September 7th of 2023,
Yes.
right? Okay,
That was my question before, was technically we're skipping that
yeah,
year of contract then.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know why we skipped the year of the contract, so that was just. clarification.
Kathy,
I would like to make a motion that we pass these employment agreement extension for Dan Grady's contract starting September of 2023.
all right, we have a motion by Kathy Schutte. I'll second that. Seconded by Mike Berlin. Okay. You can third it. Do you have roll call vote for this?
Yes.
What?
Yeah,
Kathy and John, I thought he said Mike.
no, it was John.
John hasn't had a chance to see anything over next corner. I can't see you. Gary's in the way.
And Heather, I'd like a roll call vote, please.
Thank you.
We need a roll call vote for this.
There any questions?
This
Go ahead, Bill.
There anybody have a question before we take the call?
I do. Are we putting in that we'd like to see the county board solidified in the contract for asked for input on the performance each year? Because it says what executive committee decides on how.
Look, I guarantee you that I 100% guarantee you that we'll ask.
As cool as that is, if we have it in the contract, then I guarantee it'll happen.
Go ahead, give it a shot.
Berlin,
Yes.
Miranda.
Yeah.
Busse,
Yes.
Mika,
Yes.
Vitek,
Yes.
Huber,
Yes.
Shooty,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Weiner,
Yes.
Murdig,
Yes.
Ellefson,
Yes.
McKenzie,
Yes.
Negro,
I say yes, and I'm gonna hold you to that.
Metzinger,
Yes.
Kinney,
Yes.
Hufall,
Yes.
Franik,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Stendor,
Yes.
19 yes, pass.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Reports on updates, Dan.
Okay, well, I have a good one. Right one. A couple of you know already. So we received word from the Office of Department of Military Affairs, who we applied to for the grant for joint dispatch. We are expecting to get $500,000. And they ended up giving us less than $3 shy of $700,000. So, so what that means is, so the county's contribution will be 133,000, which is split between both counties. This will, we can't use ARPA money or the LCTF money for that contribution, so we're gonna have to use fund balance. But then we can back it up later with the ARPA fund or the LCTF fund. So, so our portion will be, roughly 65,000, 67,000. We're going to have another meeting at the end of this month. We're looking at June 27th. So if you want to pencil that in on your calendars, we have to pass a resolution agreeing to joint dispatch. Mark and I are still in the process of writing that, but it will go to executive committee next week, even if it's in draft form. So everybody has a chance to look at it. Then we also have to pass a governance agreement. That'll go to executive committee next week also. So everybody has a chance to look at it. So that will be in the executive committee packet online, and our county clerk will send copies in the mail to every supervisor who requests it, I guess we should say. So if you'd like a copy sent in the mail, please let the county clerk know. She'll send you a copy. Otherwise, it'll be available online. So this is pretty big. It's a huge. So we're gonna have to move full steam ahead and get this moving. I want to stress again before you vote on any of this stuff, it's probably not going to save us money initially or even down the road. But what it is going to do, it's going to provide better service to the residents of Ashland and Bayfield counties. We'll be getting next gen 911. We'll eventually be going on to Wiscom to get with the state. We'll have more technology in place. So our deputies, our police officers, our firefighters, our ambulances, all of our emergency responders can get to places better. And it'll also mean that we have a minimum of 2 dispatchers on at all times. So, I hate using the example of somebody having a heart attack, but we know that happens. And that would enable the person on the phone to be talked to and how to give CPR, to actually help before a first responder gets there, to actually save somebody's life, or to teach somebody how to talk them over the phone if somebody's choking, or whatever, if they're bleeding or whatever. It allows them to do the emergency medical dispatch because we will have more than one dispatcher on the line. So we know that will save lives, so it's worth it. So like I said, this will go to because of the speed of it, it will go to executive committee next week. With the financial component, we'll bring that to finance committee at the end of the month also. Just so we have everybody, as many people as possible, having a chance to weigh in on it. So if you are interested in weighing in on it, please come to the executive or finance committee meetings. Because the board will be voting on the 27th. So.
Is that it, Dan?
Yeah, that's the. Then I'll take questions, obviously.
Bill?
Can we have an update on 514 Second Street West?
I think Mayor McKenzie can give you a better update on that.
I think we're closing this Thursday.
I believe we closed already, didn't we?
It either closed last Thursday or this Thursday, but.
Okay.
The city owns the building, put it that way. So the city owns the building.
Okay.
So and I can tell you one of the things I'm going to bring up to finance committee is what to do with the proceeds from that building. And I'll tell the whole board what I want to do with it. One, pay off the loan that's sitting on the building right now, which would be, but we also have a few additional loans out there, like for vehicles and stuff. Since there's a little bit of extra money, I'd like to pay off those loans too and just be done with it. And maybe help our debt levy next year a little bit.
Marty?
I saw in the news not too long ago that there was a case in New York, I think it was, where a woman had her property foreclosed. And
Minnesota.
was it
Yeah.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
And anyway, went to the Supreme Court and what the ruling seemed to be is that the county was only entitled to the amount of taxes and not the difference of the property. Is
Right, so-
something going to bite us?
Right. So last year, the state of Wisconsin actually already did that. So the rule, what the Supreme Court ruled unanimously was that a woman had her condo taken for back taxes. And it was, I believe it was Hennepin County that was the defendant. And they sold off the property to pay the taxes. And there was about a $50,000 surplus, which under Minnesota state law, the county was allowed to keep. Wisconsin had the same law up until last year. Last year, the state changed it so that we don't get to keep the excess anymore. We get to keep the taxes plus our expenses. And any remaining dollars, we would have to find the previous owner and refund them the difference. The U.S. Supreme Court now has codified that I shouldn't say codified, but they ruled that that's how it has to happen in the entire country. So no unit of government can foreclose on a piece of property and keep the profit from its sale. The Supreme Court ruled that is an illegal taking under the Constitution. As a practical matter, I don't know what that really does to help anybody. There's no incentive for the county now to, when we foreclose on a property, to try to get more money for it. So there's no, I mean, why should we be a debt collector and then pay off the person who's foreclosed? So I believe WCA will have issued guidance down the road on this. And I will be sharing that guidance with the zoning committee when it comes out. But and I'll put it as I can put it as information for the county board packet, just so everybody's aware of these things.
I'd like to say something as the chair of the zoning committee. It almost pays us not to take land because we have to try to find people. We're gonna spend more money trying to find people who give any excess money to than it pays for our taxes to take. So we're better off not even to take 99% of these properties.
Well, the Supreme Court ruling does allow us to keep our expenses. So, you know, if we were owed $1,000 in taxes and it cost us $1,000 to find the person and process the repossession, then we are allowed to keep the $2,000. So, so we still get our expenses reimbursed, but there's no incentive to sell the property at what its current value is. That, in the long run, that has effect on everybody's property value because Mike, do you mind if I pick on the point? Do you mind if I pick on the point as an example? Okay, so say, I'm picking on the point because a lot of the properties are much higher in value. So if we take a piece of property from La Pointe that's worth $500,000, because they owe $20,000 in taxes. Well, now because of state law and the Supreme Court ruling, you know, so just picking a round number, it costs us $5,000 to process it. So we could sell that $500,000 house for $25,000 and we're all paid back. And that's it. But what does that do to the property values of everybody else in the point? It lowers those values because you have that sale there now of $25,000 on a $500,000 home. But it does.
I would just like to comment. on
Realtors
couple
will use
things.
that.
The law, unless they changed it, was if the county took a piece of property on tax deed, if the person was living there within the last, I think it's 2 or 3 years, anything more than what the taxes were, we would have to give to the former owner of the property. That was the law unless they changed it. Vacant property was different, but as far as any residential property, and being an assessor, you can say that that was a hardship sale and the state would never include that. If that is the case, they would never include that in setting the equalized value because they would throw it out that it's a low ball sale that was subject to certain restrictions. So I don't know if they changed the vacant land part, but it was always residential if they resided on the property.
Yeah, it's still gonna end up lowering tax bills, much like until the state Supreme Court ruled recently on dark stores. So.
Bill, I thought that property gets revalued and it's gonna be an arm's length sale. So, I mean, I couldn't sell you my property for 10 grand and have that be the assessed value. Yeah, no, but no, it's gonna be an arm's length sale where.
Yeah, and anyhow, there's gonna be a lot of court fights on it, and it is gonna affect property values in the long run. So.
I think so.
Are you done, Dan?
Yeah, I am.
Mike?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. We have some more stuff on here. We have a couple more things on here.
Point of order, a motion to adjourn is privileged. It means you have to So you had a motion and a second. Technically, the board's adjourned.
Who seconded it?
Ron. So technically, the board's adjourned. You're ready to vote.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. We're not done with our itinerary, but
You don't have to vote on a motion.
what?
You don't have to vote on a motion. to adjourn. You don't, under Robert's rules, you don't have to vote.
I know we're concerned, but I was gonna say that I'll be there from August 18th to the 20th.
Request a roll call.
Thank you.
Normally we finish.
George, the board is adjourned. George, we're adjourned.
This here.